Okay, let's jump right into this breakdown. You ever notice how certain brands just feel expensive, even before you pick up the product? Today, we're unpacking the reality that modern branding is absolutely not about logos or catchy slogans. We're looking at the systematic engineering of human emotion.
Seriously, think about it. Why do some stores feel luxurious the second you walk in? Why do certain logos instantly make you feel safe, while others just kind of make you skeptical? The truth is, the megacorporations dominating our world right now understand human behavior way better than most psychologists do, and absolutely none of your reactions to these brands are an accident.
Which brings us to a huge foundational truth. Modern branding is, literally, psychological engineering. Every single store layout, every ad campaign, every subtle color choice, it is meticulously calculated. So let's peel back the layers of everyday commerce and look at exactly how they pull this off.
Let's start with physical spaces. Take Apple. Now, technically speaking, Apple products are rarely the absolute most powerful on the market, but they know a secret. People don't buy the best product, they buy the product that makes them feel the best. Just look at the Apple Store. You've got these blindingly bright lights, massive empty spaces, spotless glass everywhere, and almost zero distractions. Everything just feels calm, controlled, premium.
And that is a brilliant illustration of our first psychological rule. See, the human brain interprets clutter as stress. So, by flipping that, minimalism creates perceived intelligence. Apple weaponizes empty space. The very second you step foot inside an Apple store, your brain is already assuming top-tier quality before you've even touched a screen. That's real branding. It's not about the logo, it's about the perception. Okay, so moving from physical space to our subconscious triggers. Let me ask you this. Why on earth does Rolex intentionally limit their supply? Why is it notoriously impossible to just walk in and buy a Birkin bag? Or why does Supreme create all this artificial scarcity with those limited drops? Why do these massive brands make it so ridiculously hard for you to just hand them your money? Well, it's because of a very simple rule. Scarcity creates desire. Our brains are basically hardwired to assign way more value to things that are difficult to get. We just automatically assume that rarity equals importance. The instant something feels rare, we think it matters, and we desperately want it. And knowing this completely changes how brands talk to us. Cheap brands, they scream for your attention. They're practically begging you to look at them. But luxury brands, they whisper. They never beg. Because the less accessible something feels, the more powerful it becomes psychologically. Now let's talk about visual cues. It is absolutely wild how obsessively companies test color psychology to hack our instincts. Take McDonald's. They use red and yellow specifically because those colors stimulate urgency and appetite. Then you have Facebook using blue, because blue subconsciously screams trust and safety. And luxury brands? They lean heavily on black because it signals power, elegance, and total control. Literally nothing you see is random. But you know what? The most dangerous weapon in a brand's arsenal isn't color at all. Look at this crazy contrast. Nike doesn't actually sell shoes. Nike sells ambition. They sell discipline. They sell comebacks from failure. They took a complete pivot from selling a utility, sneakers, to selling an idealized version of yourself. Because here is the terrifying realization. People don't buy products, they buy versions of themselves. We call this emotional armor. When somebody puts on Nike gear, they subconsciously feel just a little bit closer to being strong, admired, or respected. The brand turns a completely ordinary piece of clothing into emotional armor. And that right there is how you build a billion-dollar loyalty loop. Let's pivot to storytelling, because Coca-Cola mastered this decades ago. You see, human beings remember stories way better than raw data. It's literally how we survived for millennia. So the best ads out there don't even feel like ads. They feel like mini-movies. Look at Coke's strategy. They totally stopped marketing sugary carbonated water and started marketing family, Christmas, friendship, happiness. Coca-Cola stopped being a drink and transformed into an emotion. And emotions dictate our wallets. Consumer neuroscience studies map this out perfectly. Step 1 is always the emotional reaction, the feeling. Step 2 is the logical reasoning, the justification. We feel a purchase first, like the status or the meaning of it, and then we scramble to build the logic later to justify buying something we definitely don't need. That is exactly why someone drops thousands on a luxury watch. They aren't buying utility, they're buying identity.
Now, taking that emotional foundation, social media has just absolutely supercharged the whole thing. Today, attention is hands down the most valuable currency on earth. Our day-to-day focus has been completely commodified.
Welcome to the dopamine economy. Every major platform, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, they're all engineered around these exact triggers: short rewards, constant novelty, endless emotional stimulation. The brands that are winning right now understand a core truth. You don't capture attention with facts anymore. You capture it with emotion. Fear, curiosity, status, desire, mystery.
This is the exact reason why the most successful YouTube thumbnails always follow this incredibly simple formula. One strong visual, one powerful emotion, and one curiosity gap. They absolutely never rely on complex information.
Why? Because confused people never click. It is 100% about clarity. Winning the attention war isn't about logic, it's about hitting an emotional nerve instantly. All right, we've reached the absolute core of this whole thing. The most elite brands in the world understand this one final principle way better than anyone else. People just want to feel understood. Not sold to, understood. When a brand can effectively say, hey, we understand exactly who you are and we know who you want to become, they win. They satisfy this deep human craving, and they become psychologically addictive.
And once you have that emotional attachment, it's game over. All the traditional business rules just fade away. Suddenly, price matters less, logic matters less, competition totally matters less.
Because here is the ultimate realization of modern branding. Once you reach that level of connection, the customer isn't just buying a product from a faceless corporation anymore. They are protecting an identity. They're defending their own carefully constructed sense of self.
And that, my friends, is exactly how modern branding controls human behavior. So I want to leave you with this thought to chew on. Just take a look around your room right now. Whose identity are you protecting?